Speaking of Memphis, that's where we find meteorologist Mike Seidel. Mike, you've been standing out there. How have road conditions fared so far this morning and the afternoon, and where do we go from here?
Okay, Chris, so far so good. Now, we had issues this morning on the bridges and overpasses, but we've had nothing falling out of the sky since before sunrise. We do have daylight. With that said, the temperature now down to 27 at Memphis International, which is about 8 miles southwest of where we're standing. We're out here on the east side, near I-240 and Poplar Road. We've seen some salt thrown down here. They've been brining since yesterday. So let's bring in Nicole Lawrence. She's with the Tennessee DOT District 4 that handles the 21 western counties in Tennessee. And Nicole, a busy day or so for you guys. What do you got as far as the latest on the roads, and what are you planning to do as that next batch moves in here in the next hour or so?
Hi, Mike. Thank you for having me. As you've mentioned, the Interstate 240, there's been some areas around the Walnut Grove area that have had some trouble spots. Definitely the flyovers and the river bridges that we pay extra attention to. And just moving forward, we're going to be doing more of the same. We monitor, we, have our meetings with the weather channels and National Weather Service to make sure that we are, prepared to take care of this next round.
And I see the salt out here in Poplar. Nicole, will you be throwing down more salt as the rain comes down and freezes?
Yes, we will. We will begin doing that, later this afternoon. We have crews out checking areas right now, and they'll be out with that salt brine mixture and maybe add in a little calcium chloride to make it a little bit of a hotter mixture to help with that thaw process.
And so through the evening and overnight, you're going to have everybody out there on duty taking care, especially the elevated surfaces, as you mentioned.
Right. These events are always all hands on deck so that we can get in and get the roads clear for everyone safely. Okay,
Nicole Lawrence with the DOT. Thanks for your input and good luck over the next 18 hours. And I speak of the roadways and the conditions. We got the update from the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Since 5 a.m., they've worked 20 accidents in western Tennessee. So since 5 a.m., 20 accidents here in the western part of the state. As far as the weather goes, let's put that radar in motion. Scott back there. Scott Peely back at the Weather Channel, and you can see it's coming in another hour or so. Rain comes in. I also saw some thunder freezing rain to our west, so we may have some thunder and lightning here. Can't rule out some sleet pellets. I took a look at the what we call the SKU-T, the profile, the temperature profile of the atmosphere. Down here at the ground, it's 27, so we're 5 below freezing. But if you go up about 2 kilometers, about 2,000 feet, the temperature's in the low 40s. So the temperature profile goes like this. And it goes above freezing, then goes quickly back below freezing. So that warm layer, whatever it starts out of as snow or rain, it turns to rain and freezes on contact. But Chris, there may be enough thickness to that layer that we got some sleet in here. But bottom line is more ice accretion, more power outages, and we'll be showing it to you live on the Weather Channel this evening, starting at 8 Eastern and 7 Central. Chris?
Yeah, Mike, that precip, that's coming in quick. It won't be long before things start to go downhill quickly in Memphis. We'll check back in with Mike Seidel throughout this hour. We are any minute away from some of the heavier freezing rain getting in. That's where we find meteorologist Mike Seidel. Mike, you're just under a tree and we can see the ice. How much has fallen already?
Well, as far as what's fallen, we've had 2/3 of an inch of liquid, but as far as accretion, Chris, much less than that. I'm looking closely, and I'm thinking about 1/10, maybe some areas, maybe 1/15 of an inch. This all fell overnight and early this morning, so all day today it's been dry, cloudy, cold. Our temperature 27 in Memphis, and that means whatever falls is going to be freezing on contact. Now, we may get some sleet. I just saw the ob out of Searcy, which is north of I-40 in Arkansas. So that's west, little northwest, northwest of here. They're reporting thunder snow, but I think the observation is wrong. It's thunder sleet. I don't think it can be snowing that far south with the temperatures so warm aloft. So we're going to see the precipitation moving in. In fact, right now we're getting I can see some mist blowing in the light winds. That's another factor. How much wind will we have tonight when we get the ice? Not a whole lot, 5 to 10 miles an hour for the most part. So what's going to cause the power outages is just the sheer weight of the ice and limbs cracking. Maybe it's a dead limb. deadwood, and maybe it comes down on a power line. But the wind, fortunately, will not be running 20, 25 miles an hour with all the ice and things swaying, and then you got a lot more power outages. But we'll keep you updated. We're going to be here this evening from 8 to midnight Eastern to show you the ice accreting. And we'll keep an eye on the road, bridges and overpasses, too, live here.
So we want to get ground truth with our meteorologist, Mike Seidel. Mike, man, have things changed in a really quick way. It looks like the precip, I can hear it. Where are you at temperature-wise?
We're still at 28 at 2 p.m. Central. That has not changed much. We went down to 27 briefly. I think the temperatures are going to go very far down tonight, maybe a degree. What we've got going right now, it's mostly sleet. Take a look. Look at it bouncing off my gloves. I don't see any raindrops hitting my gloves. There's one. So it is almost all sleet right now. There's just enough cold air. The layer is just thick enough so the raindrops come down and they refreeze before they hit the ground. Now, are we going to get sleet for the entire next 6 hours or 7 hours? I don't think so. That would be nice because sleet doesn't accrete on power lines and trees. You're still going to have the issues on the roadways because it's still ice, but we'll see how that works through this evening here. We're going to be here live from 7 to 11 Central as the rain or the freezing rain and the sleet continues to come in. Look at the radar. You can see how it's come in like a wall. It started and it came down pretty hard immediately. Roadways are fine. This is Poplar. Remember I told you earlier, it's salted. Plus we have traffic. Plus we have daylight. So we're not going to turn this into a sheet of ice right away. Now, after sundown and we lose the traffic, things get dicey, especially on the elevated surfaces, which are surrounded by cold air. However, DOT, we talked to the folks at DOT here in Western Tennessee, and they are going to be really on it, especially these surfaces that freeze first because the cold air surrounds them, the bridges and the flyovers. They don't have a lot of flyovers in Memphis, but they got enough with 40 and 55, and also the bridges across the Mississippi River. Out at the airport so far, 28 flights canceled, not a big number. That's 4% of their arrivals and departures today. Tomorrow, already 9 flights have been canceled. Again, not a huge number of flights, but flights that don't get in tonight, if you're on the first flight out tomorrow, that could be an issue, Chris. But sleet, a little bit of freezing rain as we continue through the afternoon, and we'll see how much ice we get tonight. At least a quarter inch is expected, and it's just a matter of how much weight do we have on these limbs. If they're rotted, they could come down and knock out power. The saving grace, again, winds tonight, I said limbs, winds tonight not expected to run much more than about 10 miles an hour, so that helps us out in the power outage department.
All right, Mike Seidel, thanks so much for that update. Yeah, the wind shouldn't move the limbs all that much because it will be on the light side. So at least that's helpful. We're not dealing with high winds calling, but you saw how conditions have really changed there in Memphis.